Motorcycle clubs have always represented freedom, rebellion, and a life outside the rules of society. Among these clubs, few are as recognized or as controversial as the Bandidos Motorcycle Club. Founded in 1966 in San Leon, Texas, by a former U.S. Marine named Donald Eugene Chambers, the club quickly grew from a small brotherhood into an international organization. Chambers had served in Vietnam, and when he returned, he carried with him a deep desire for camaraderie, loyalty, and adrenaline. The name Bandidos was inspired by the image of the Mexican bandit, a symbol of rebellion against authority. Their logo, the Fat Mexican, shows a man in a sombrero holding a sword and a pistol. This became one of the most iconic emblems in biker history. In its early days, the Bandidos were not just about motorcycles. They were about creating an identity. Members lived by their own code, loyalty to the Brotherhood above all else, and resistance against mainstream society. By the early 1970s, the club had already expanded across Texas and into neighboring states, establishing a reputation for toughness, loyalty, and sometimes violence. From the start, the Bandidos considered themselves part of the one-percenter culture, a badge of outlaw pride.
The Bandidos Motorcycle Club is not just a group of bikers. It is a structured brotherhood with a strict hierarchy. Every member has a role, and respect for rank is essential. At the top sits the national president, the ultimate leader and decision maker. Beneath him are the vice president, secretary, treasurer, and sergeant at arms. Each local chapter follows the same system, ensuring that discipline and unity are maintained across all regions. The sergeant at arms is one of the most important roles, responsible for enforcing rules, protecting members, and ensuring order during meetings and runs. The road captain plans and leads motorcycle runs, keeping the pack safe and organized.
Membership in the Bandidos is not given, it is earned. Newcomers must first become a hang-around, spending time with the club without wearing any colors. If accepted, they move to the prospect stage, where they prove loyalty, commitment, and toughness. This process can take months or even years, and not everyone makes it through. Once fully patched, a member wears the infamous Bandidos colors, the back patch with the Fat Mexican. This patch is sacred. Losing it means losing your honor. Members live by the club's motto, "We are the people our parents warned us about." Brotherhood is the heart of the Bandidos. Every member is expected to put the club above personal interest. Loyalty, respect, and discipline are not just words, they are survival.
By the mid-1970s, the Bandidos had already become one of the most recognized outlaw motorcycle clubs in the United States, but their ambitions did not stop at Texas.
The club began expanding across the US, opening chapters in Louisiana, Oklahoma, and beyond. Soon, the red and gold colors of the Bandidos became a familiar sight across the South and Southwest. In the 1980s and 1990s, expansion went international. The Bandidos established chapters in Europe, Australia, and Asia, turning from a regional club into a global brotherhood. Countries like Germany, Sweden, Denmark, and later even Thailand and Malaysia became strongholds for the club. This international growth was not just about numbers, it was about power. The Bandidos became one of the so-called Big Four outlaw motorcycle clubs of the world, alongside the Hells Angels, Outlaws, and Mongols. Wherever the Bandidos expanded, they brought with them a reputation for toughness, loyalty, and sometimes violent clashes with rival clubs. Their arrival in Europe, for example, led to deadly turf wars with the Hells Angels, especially in Scandinavia. By the early 2000s, the Bandidos claimed tens of thousands of members and supporters worldwide. From Texas to Europe, Australia to Asia, the Fat Mexican patch became a symbol of both fear and respect. The rise of the Bandidos inevitably brought them into conflict with other powerful outlaw motorcycle clubs. Among these, their greatest rival was the Hells Angels. The Bandidos and the Hells Angels clashed over territory, power, and respect. These confrontations were not just bar fights, they were organized wars. One of the bloodiest examples was the Nordic Biker War of the 1990s, when the Bandidos and Hells Angels fought across Scandinavia using guns, grenades, and even anti-tank weapons. Dozens were killed and many more injured, shocking the public with the scale of violence. In the United States, the Bandidos also had rivalries with the Outlaws MC and the Mongols MC, though none matched the intensity of their battles with the Hells Angels. Conflicts weren't limited to rival clubs. Sometimes internal power struggles erupted within the Bandidos themselves. Leadership disputes, loyalty issues, and criminal charges often put pressure on the Brotherhood. For law enforcement, these conflicts were proof that the Bandidos were not just a motorcycle club, but a serious organised crime group. Every war brought more police raids, arrests, and surveillance, yet the club continued to survive and expand. The rivalries defined the Bandidos as much as their Brotherhood did. To be a Bandido meant standing firm against enemies, no matter the cost.
As the Bandidos expanded their power across the world, they attracted more attention from law enforcement. Police agencies in the US, Europe, and Australia saw the club not just as a motorcycle brotherhood, but as an organized crime syndicate. Authorities linked the Bandidos to drug trafficking, weapons smuggling, extortion, and even contract killings.
Their violent clashes with rivals made headlines, but it was the behind-the-scenes criminal activity that truly alarmed governments. In the United States, the FBI and ATF launched multiple investigations, targeting leaders with charges ranging from racketeering to murder. Major operations in Texas and other states led to dozens of arrests. In Europe, German and Scandinavian police cracked down hard on Bandidos chapters, raiding clubhouses and banning certain chapters outright. Australia followed suit, passing anti-bikie laws designed to cripple the club's ability to operate. Despite these crackdowns, the Bandidos proved resilient. Even when leaders were jailed, new ones stepped in. The club adapted, often going underground or reorganizing to avoid law enforcement pressure. But the legacy of the Bandidos is complicated. To some, they represent freedom, loyalty, and the raw power of biker culture. To others, they symbolize crime, violence, and chaos. Their history is written in both brotherhood and bloodshed. What is undeniable is their impact. From Texas to Europe, from Australia to Scandinavia, the Bandidos MC became one of the most influential outlaw motorcycle clubs in the world. Their story is one of rebellion, survival, and a brotherhood that refuses to die.
This was the story of the Bandidos Motorcycle Club: freedom, rebellion, and brotherhood. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more documentaries like this. And let us know your thoughts in the comments below.